Hi, everybody. My name is Ross Artwall. I'm a clinical social worker here at your counseling service with my colleague, Cass Manalastis, a licensed mental health counselor. Together, we are your counseling team this year. And we're here to talk with you about the situation in Ukraine, really more specifically, the impact that it's having on so many people, and maybe how to cope around the impact.
So the first thing that we want to acknowledge is that with everything going on, especially after receiving news about the Ukraine-Russia conflict, we've heard that a lot of students and even faculty and staff are feeling stressed and overwhelmed.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an overwhelming situation. And part of that overwhelm, I think, is just the lack of control. I think all of us would wish for at least two buttons. One is a button to affect the outcome in Ukraine in some very instrumental way. And the second would be to a sense-making button, to cut through all the spin and propaganda and just understand what's happening and where this has come from. But unfortunately, we don't have those two buttons. And so what we can do unconsciously is displace that need for control onto, often it's onto our phones and onto social media. Sometimes this is referred to as doom scrolling, kind of going through this endless process of looking for information to give you some sense of understanding, some sense of control. And beyond a certain point, especially if done unconsciously, this can really backfire and leave people feeling more upset and not in a helpful way, not in an empowering way, and more out of control.
Sometimes it feels like we're kind of not doing enough, right? Which is, I think, why we want to find different ways to get that control and find that piece of agency that we're looking for, especially during a time where it feels like we're not doing enough with all of this information at our fingertips. And so Ross and I wanted to provide some different ways of being able to take care of yourself, whether that's being more vigilant about the media that you're consuming, like verifying your sources or knowing when to put the phone down and stop scrolling, and taking ownership and responsibility of our feelings. Sometimes something as simple as naming that we're feeling helpless, naming that this feels a little bit out of our control can help even in a small way. And as well as like doing something for our community, whether that's volunteering, taking time to engage in your own self-care and checking in on your loved ones in a very mindful way can help ease the feeling of helplessness and help ease that feeling of, instead of displacing the control, doing something about it that will improve your mental health.
I love that, finding our sphere of influence and doing this consciously rather than unconsciously. Very important.
Yeah.
We hope this has been helpful to you. Obviously, in this format, we provide general suggestions. If you feel like you need a more custom approach, that's what individual counseling is for. So please go to our website, counseling@spscc.edu. And there you'll find everything you need to schedule with us.
And just one last tidbit for our community members who are from Ukraine or Russia or who have close friends, family, or connections there, know that we are here to support you and that we are looking for resources as well to provide that custom approach that Russ was talking about that would be beneficial or helpful for you.
Absolutely. Really important. Glad you added that.
Yeah. Well, we hope everyone takes care.
Everybody.